Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 9 US battleship, the Misery. We're playing a match on the map Warrior's Path, I believe, and I spawned near the center, so I headed straight towards the enemy. Because I want to get close, take a few shots, and then start backing off. And oh wow, a citadel on the Edinburgh right from the get-go. And unfortunately this is a Tier 8 to 10 battle with Tier 10 aircraft carriers, and the enemy CV is an FDR, a Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I say unfortunate because she seems to have taken a liking to me. She did her first strike on me. I mean, it was worth it for the Edinburgh shot, but still, it's not a good thing to be focused by the FDR, especially when you're a battleship. So I'm gonna start backing off way earlier than I would have otherwise. If this were a regular match without CVs, or maybe even a CV that isn't FDR, then I probably would have gotten like 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 kilometers closer before turning around and, backing off. But with this being an FDR and her actually taking an interest in me early on, that's a really bad idea. So I backed off. Now I'm actually kinda too far from the fight. I do think this will make it unlikely the enemy is gonna attack me, the CV I mean, but still, considering there's nothing around me, this isn't actually as great, and I can't really use my radar when I'm this far from all of the cap zones. So I'm thinking of just turning and going closer, not to the A cap though, I'm thinking to the B cap. I'll turn in a way where I get closer to the A cap and then just head over to B. Oh, come on! If I were just slightly closer, I could radar the Neustrashimi. Unfortunately, my 9.5 kilometer radar just isn't quite long range enough. Oh, come on! Those were so close! If a sailor on the Neustrashimi had reached out his arm, he could have actually touched the shell while it was flying, okay? Damn, so damn close. Oh wow, I think the FDR actually struck the Edinburgh. That's alright though, I'm gonna take another shot on the Neustrashimi. I'm gonna fire one shell, one in the middle and one behind her, so regardless what the Neustrashimi does, my shell should land somewhere around her. Hopefully hitting her. Yay! Yay, we actually landed 2 shots, nice! That's like 10% of her HP. Oh, and I think FDR is back. Damn it! Okay, I'm gonna turn in for that. I don't have many ships shooting me, actually any of them, so I'm gonna be somewhat alright doing all these maneuvers that I have to do to minimize the damage the CV does. Oh god, this is gonna hurt. I'm gonna eat 1, 2, 4 torpedoes. Damn. Well, that's like, what? 15k damage taken. It also broke my engine, so I had to use damage control party. And if the FDR gets another drop like that on me, I am pretty screwed, because I'll be eating flooding damage then. So I'm just gonna back off again. Although maybe FDR is gonna go for the Edinburgh. Yeah, it does look like she's going for the Edinburgh. Okay, in that case, we can turn in enough to take a shot on this Lepanto. And I guess, I mean, I've gotten slightly closer to the B cap. In another like 5 minutes I might be in place to actually be able to radar it. Not that we actually need it anymore because the Neustrashimi is dead, but still. I'm also gonna turn in, diagonally go towards the B cap. That way if the FDR comes with planes again, I can turn in or out depending on what planes they are. I want to tell my teammates that they probably want to retreat at A, because if you look at the map, right, just count the ships. They have a Conqueror, a Minnesota, a Holland, an Edinburgh, we have an Izuma, a Kleber, sorry, and a Bismarck. The enemy outnumbers us there, and they have higher tier ships. Our team is gonna lose, so they should be doing a fighting retreat in my opinion. Oh wow, FDR is roughly in this area, but not actually striking me, which is great. Oh, that's not so great though. Ouch, Georgia. 26k damage? Damn. I guess I did sleep a little on that one. I should have turned out earlier. or turned in, so I were slightly more angled. I guess that was deserved. I mean, it's only 16 kilometers from that Georgia. I'd really like to turn in. I should have turned in earlier too. Oh, I think Georgia might be showing me broadside this time though. Are you sure you want to do that? Because we basically have the same armor. And the things you can do to me, I can do to you too. Double Citadel, so technically I guess I did worse to the Georgia than she did to me, but she just did not have the HP for that. Yeah, Georgia, this is what you get. You shouldn't have shot me in the first place, okay? Although I still would have shot you, but I would have been happier about it, okay? Surprisingly, we're winning, even though we're against an FDR. I mean, we still have all 12 of our ships. The enemy has 7. I mean, FDR isn't actually that crazy strong for winning the games. Like, stronger than I would say most CVs, but it's not like having an FDR as a guaranteed victory. If your team falls apart, there's nothing the FDR can do, because CVs need time to operate, right? And I mean, it's only been 8 minutes and they've already lost a lot of ships. I think they're gonna lose some more soon. Oh, our first went down, and the second one immediately, Edinburgh and Bismarck. Told you, Bismarck, to back off. Told you. You didn't listen to me, now you dead. I think Izuma's gonna go down too. I don't see how Izuma's gonna survive an Edinburgh, Minnesota, Conqueror, and Holland, and the FDR actually. So yeah, Izuma's also gone. Okay, I guess Holland isn't engaging the... No, actually she might be. Lepanto. Also, I noticed something else on the minimap. If you look north, no, further north than that, to quite the map edge, you'll notice a red ship over there called an FD and Roosevelt. And her distance is actually closing with us, 25 kilometers. Soon it's gonna be 24 kilometers, and soon after that it's gonna be 23.4 kilometers, at which point we can shoot her and pay back for all the pain that we suffered this game due to her. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. Considering we won the seaside pretty hard, I think I might actually want to turn my ship around and start heading more towards a... Ooh, a citadel hit. Nice. Ooh, another one. Nice. 27k to the FDR, so we're actually kinda even already. Although I suppose the FDR put more fear into me than I've put into her though. So the way you want to aim at CVs is that you basically predict how much you need to aim, and then you aim slightly more because CVs are always deceptively fast. You expect them to be a lot slower than they actually are, so you need to usually lead more. They're stupid fast usually, especially when they get going and just sail in a straight line. But that's why I'm just leading a lot more than you might expect normally. Oh, a Zekamashi. Come on, come on. What? 3 ricochets? BS. But this one wasn't a ricochet. Yep, we made friends with that FDR. Goodbye. And this pretty much cements our victory, I think. This is what you get, Mr. FDR, for striking me so early. Okay? This is what you get. So, what does the enemy have left? A Conqueror, a Minnesota, an Edinburgh, this Zekamashi, that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. Actually, we aren't winning quite as hard as it might seem. Like, if the FDR had gotten away, this would have been much more of a game than you might think, because a lot of our ships left are destroyers. Oh, Nugum and Shimaka's actually torped each other, but a lot of the ships left are destroyers, not surface ships. Only battleships are actually me and that Kremlin, and our only cruiser is the Hindenburg, which I suppose is an advantage over an Edinburgh. Well, an Edinburgh that just lost to a Kleber, so yeah, I'd say that's an advantage. But I mean, Conqueror plus Minnesota versus Missouri and Kremlin, it's not necessarily a given that the Conqueror and Minnesota would lose. Although the torps from our many destroyers certainly help. I suppose this is one of the downsides of the FDR, right? The Hakuryu, for example, is really adept at dealing with destroyers, but FDR is not. You can't rocket plane destroyers with FDR rocket planes. You can dive bomb them, but usually you're just praying to RNGesus at that point. Because sometimes you get really good drops, other times you miss literally everything. Torpedoes, it depends more on how the destroyer dodges. It's possible to avoid them most of the time. Right now though, I'm pretty certain we're gonna win though. 900 points. Yeah, they ain't coming back from this one. So the question really is, how do I get the most amount of XP? Or most amount of damage, I suppose. And my answer is I'm gonna shoot the Conqueror and try to ram the Minnesota. By the way, I think the Iowas, this is the Missouri included, are just straight up superior to the Minnesota. Because you have better damage output, you have better penetration, your ship is faster. There are very few things that the Minnesota is better at than the Missouri and the Iowa. Iowa also even gets a better heal, and Missouri gets a radar, so it's pretty easy to spot which way to go. By the way, if you're wondering why is the ship so blurry, the Minnesota there, that's because I am pretty sure I'm using temporal anti-aliasing. Anyway. Good ram, Minnesota. Good ram. Would have liked it if I had been able to citadel the Conqueror before that, but that's alright. I think the Conqueror is easy enough to citadel, I just didn't get lucky with that one. She used to be basically impossible to citadel in the past. Think of like a GK that's showing you broadside. That's basically what the Conqueror used to be. I'm glad that they changed that. Can you imagine how BS Thunderer would be with that kind of armor plating? Jesus. Also, if you're wondering what kind of anime voiceover I was using, that was Mueka China from High School Fleet, I believe. Anyway, game's over. 179k damage, 1.6 million credits, 6 citadels, sank 3 ships, 2,396 base XP. I was a tier 9 ship while fighting tier 10 ships, so of course it makes sense why I get so much XP, but 56k to that FDR. Damn, pretty good. Pretty good indeed. 16k from the ram. Look at that though. I took 11k from the torpedoes from the FDR, 11k from the rockets, then I took 10k from fires and floodings from the FDR. So basically, I lost like 32k HP to the FDR straight up. Also, these are all the XP and or credits modifiers. So, let's take a look at the commander skins and upgrades. I use a standard battleship build, emergency repair specialist, grease the gears, survivability or adrenaline rush, sorry, then emergency repair expert, concealment expert, basics of survivability. Also, I'm surprised I'm not actually using one of my other captains for this, but I guess whatever. Upgrades wise, it's also what you would expect. I'm using the dispersion upgrade. I'm not sure, maybe reload is better. Again, unsure. Then concealment, propulsion mod, because I'm using basics of survivability. Then the turret reverse upgrade, because the US battleships don't get access to the dispersion upgrade in this slot. You can have range though, if you want. Then surveillance radar, because if you don't have... Well, I guess if you have a Missouri, you probably have enough surveillance radar mods. I would use damage control if I were in Iowa though, obviously. And main arms modification 1. By the way, this ship is basically an Iowa. You just have a slightly weaker heel and you have a radar instead of the scout plane, I believe, that the Iowa gets. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.